It's safe to say that hair removal has been practiced by women throughout history and throughout all cultures for a variety of reasons. The only facial hair I'm a fan of are eyelashes and eyebrows. Almost 45 years ago when I started my transition, I considered the facial hair that wasn't my eyelashes or eyebrows Satan. I'm not talking about the devil, I'm talking about the real definition, which is the opponent. The hair that covered the lower part of my face was keeping me from living the life I wanted to live. Even after shaving, it left a shadow so dark that I was using grease paint to cover it up until I found Dermablend. No matter what I was using, about 6 hours later, you could feel a little bit of stubble. I've seen a lot of videos where you guys are complaining about your facial hair, so let me tell you what I know about electrolysis. What is electrolysis? Well, it's a way to permanently remove hair. It's a machine that takes electricity and passes it through a cell that releases some kind of electricity that then changes the structure of your follicle, making the hair not grow. In other words, it zaps your hair follicle to death. For me, electrolysis was life-changing. Nice, huh? Electrolysis used to be the only way for permanent hair removal. So far, so good, right? Well, there is a catch. Hair has cycles. Anagen, or the growth cycle. Catagen, or the transition cycle. Telogen, the resting cycle. Exogen, when the hair falls out. Electrolysis only works on hair that's in the anagen cycle, or the growth cycle. At any given time, only about 35% of your hair is in that cycle. As if that's not bad enough. If the current isn't strong enough, then you can damage the follicle, but you might not kill the follicle, which will result in just really light hair that's very loose. You can probably pull it out with your fingers. Being able to pull it out with your fingers is a little consolation when you don't want it to grow at all. Now you must be thinking to yourself, well, Sophia, how do I know if the current's strong enough? When the current is strong enough, the hair kind of jumps out. The follicle just lets go, so there should be no feeling of plucking. If it feels like your face is being tweezed, then the current is not strong enough. On average, it takes about 2 years to get your whole face clean, and then another 2 years to get it to all be killed, dead, no more. Electrolysis requires commitment. If you don't go every week, it's really difficult to get the hair in the right cycle. That means 4 years could easily turn into 6. The hair on your face has to be long enough to be held by a tweezer. The first person I went to wanted me not to shave for like 5 days before I went to her because she had to grab the hair. The one I went to after her, who was fantastic, only wanted me to go 48 hours, maybe 3 days. She was talented and she didn't need the hair to be very long before pulling it. So she was able to do it only a couple of days, and that let her see which hair was actually growing, the hair that's in its growth phase. Electrolysis is machine dependent. So if the machine isn't operational or working optimally, then your electrolysis is going to take a little bit longer or maybe not be effective at all. When I started electrolysis, I had to go to this woman that had an old machine, and the old machines, because it was 45 years ago, had this thing you had to hold, like a node that you had to hold in your hand because you completed the circuit, and she would burn and it would hurt and all that, but the hair wouldn't stop growing. Months later, I found out that her machine wasn't working, and that's why my hair didn't stop growing. The one good thing about my time with her was that she showed me this cream called Silvadene, which you need a prescription for, which really helps with the burns, if you get burned, even though you're not supposed to be getting burned. Then I found Susan, and Susan was great. She was fast, and what made her fast is that she did electrolysis with 2 hands. She zapped you with one and took the hair out with the other. Most people use the same hand for both. I think every trans woman in New York at the time went to Susan at Hollywood Way. Hollywood Way, the only way to permanent hair removal. All these years later, I still remember the phone number, 212-436-9235. Don't call, because she retired years ago, so that's not their number anymore because the place closed down. So if your electro isn't working, here's a couple of things to consider. You're being an inconsistent flake, so you're getting what you deserve. Even though the new machines, you don't have to hold a node anymore, but they still need to be tuned up. The current isn't strong enough. You shouldn't feel any plucking. The hair should jump out. Finally, your technician isn't talented or is way too slow. If electrolysis isn't working, it's either you, the machine, or the person's skill. Smooth is good.